Welcome to Kramen. Everyone cherishes their freedom, but what will you do when someone tries to take that freedom away from you? Will you do what the heroes of this story did, or something else? At the beginning of this story, we see a man carefully examining a newborn baby. If the baby has any defect, it is left to die. This is the law of Sparta. Such children are not considered to have the right to live. Leonidas is one of these children, but he is perfectly healthy. When he turns 7, his training to become a warrior begins, and he has to leave home. In Sparta, only one thing is taught: giving your life for your country is the greatest honor. He is trained there, and after completing his training, he is sent to a terrifying forest for a test. On that cold night, in that terrifying forest, he encounters a vicious wolf, but he kills it. When he returns, he is crowned the king of Sparta. Time passes slowly. And after 30 years a messenger arrives in Sparta. He asks him to surrender to the king Xerxes, but Leonidas refuses. When this messenger arrives, he brings with him the severed heads and crowns of other kings, to scare Leonidas. And along with this, he has also insulted his queen. That is why he kills him and all his men. Now Leonidas knows that Persia has a huge army, with millions of soldiers, and they are about to attack Greece, and they will attack Sparta first. Therefore, Leonidas wants to attack them, wants to fight them. But he cannot make this decision easily. Although he is the king, there are some customs in Sparta. If he wants to wage war, he has to go to the oracles, and if the oracles say that Sparta should wage war, then he can wage war. The oracles are young women who convey the messages of the gods to humans. Sparta has very ancient customs. Here, some old men, known as Ephialtes, are the ones who control the oracles. They keep young Spartan girls and use them to deliver the gods' messages to the people. And now Leonidas comes to them and tells them his entire strategy. He explains that a very large Persian army is about to attack them. If they send them through the mountain passes, specifically the gates of Thermopylae, they can defeat them there. The old hypocrites ask what offerings he has brought. Leonidas gives them gold. They say that it is August, the Carnea festival is approaching, and Sparta does not fight during Carnea. This makes Leonidas very angry. He says that every young Spartan will die fighting, and the children and women of Sparta will be enslaved. They say that the oracles will decide. There is a young girl there through whom they convey the gods' message. They say that if Sparta goes to war, all of Sparta will be destroyed, and Greece too. They say that they should celebrate Carnea and Sparta will not go to war. Leonidas becomes very disheartened by this and leaves. But all these old men are in league with King Xerxes. They want Sparta to be destroyed, and if Sparta is destroyed, Xerxes will give them a lot of gold and new girls, which is what these old hypocrites want. The next day, Leonidas calls his 300 men, and these are the bravest soldiers of Sparta. There are no better warriors in all of Sparta. And these 300 men decide that they will face Xerxes and his million-strong army. Although they know that death awaits them there, they are not afraid to die. As they are leaving, some senators of state of Sparta arrive. They say, "The oracles have spoken, the priests have spoken, you cannot go to war with your forces." Leonidas says, "I am not going to war, I am going for a walk. And these 300 soldiers are my bodyguards." Now, among these senators is one named Theron, and he is allied with Xerxes. He is the one who bribed the priests, and he wants Sparta to lose so that he can take complete charge after Sparta's defeat. But when Leonidas says that he is not going to war but going for a walk, this senator's entire plan is ruined, and Leonidas goes with his men to fight towards Thermopylae because Xerxes' army is about to arrive there. As they are going, they show that a man is following them. He is a hunchback who has a shield and a spear. His name is Ephialtes, who was rejected at birth due to defects, but his parents abandoned Sparta for him. And in this way, their army slowly moves forward, and on the way, they come across a village that someone has burned down, and seeing this, they all become very angry. Just then, a child arrives who is in a half-dead condition, and as soon as he reaches them, he collapses, and he says that devils and monsters came here with claws, and they killed everyone. After hearing this, one of Leonidas's army men says that he had heard about Persian ghosts, they cannot be killed. Leonidas says that whether they can be defeated will be decided by their swords. He then advances with his men. They proceed through narrow paths and reach the seashore. In the sea, there are many Persian ships approaching them. Just then, it starts to rain, lightning flashes, and a huge storm arises in the sea, causing all the Persian ships to sink. All the Greeks celebrate, but only one man remains calm, Leonidas. They believe the Persians are destroyed, but when they look from the other side of the hill, they see thousands of ships have arrived, and the Persians number in the millions, making it nearly impossible to defeat them. However, according to their strategy, the hills they occupy are called the gates of hell, and the paths there are very narrow. There's only one way out, back to Sparta, through these narrow passes. They can fight this entire army here because the whole Persian army cannot fight them all at once in these narrow paths. They will have to come in small groups. Now, King Leonidas asks his general if there is another way behind them. The general says no, there isn't. Just then, Ephialtes arrives and says, "Your Majesty, there is a shepherd's path through the western cliffs. If the Persian army comes that way, they can surround us." This is the same man who has been following them throughout their journey. He tells the king that he wants to help, that he wants to fight and kill Persians, but his physical condition prevents him from fighting in the war. Ephialtes says that his father was a warrior, a Spartan, but when he was born, he was crippled, and that's why his parents had to leave Sparta, otherwise he would have been left to die there. Ephialtes says that his father taught him how to fight, how to be a warrior. Leonidas tells him to lift his shield as high as he can, but Ephialtes cannot lift it because the shield is too heavy. Leonidas says that he appreciates his courage and his spirit, but he cannot fight in the war because every warrior protects the man to his left, from head to toe, with his shield, and a weak link can destroy them all. Therefore, Leonidas says that if he wants to help, he should help those who are wounded in battle, that would be a great help. Leonidas says, "Forgive me, my friend," and he leaves. Ephialtes is heartbroken because he wanted to become a warrior and make his parents proud, and when Leonidas refuses him, he throws down his spear and shield in anger and walks away. Meanwhile, the Persians advance, and the 300 Spartans face them all. They kill thousands of Persians, and these 300 men achieve a great victory. After this, King Xerxes himself comes to meet Leonidas. Leonidas says, "I presume you are Xerxes." Xerxes says that his tribe is unparalleled, and that he is fearless even standing before a god, but standing against him is not wise. Leonidas replies, "You have more slaves and fewer warriors, and very soon, they will fear Spartan spears more than your hunters." Xerxes says that they don't fear our hunters, they fear our spiritual strength. "Join me, I am a merciful god. I will make you the military leader of all of Greece, but you must kneel before me, and after that, all your enemies will kneel before you." Dax says, "You are very merciful, King of Kings. As far as kneeling is concerned, after killing your people, my legs have stiffened, so kneeling is out of the question." Xerxes tries to scare him, but Leudas is a brave warrior, a fighter who isn't afraid of his words and refuses, walking away. Now, Xerxes sends his most powerful army division, but they are not humans. These 300 Spartans fight against them. Xerxes' army also has a warrior who is even more terrifying than these demons, but Leonidas kills him. Along with this, all the others are killed by the Spartans. The next morning, Xerxes sends a huge army along with Asian magicians, but on those narrow, thin paths, numbers don't matter. These 300 Spartans and some Arcadians, who now join the Spartans in fighting against Xerxes, defeat his entire army and the terrifying beasts that accompany them. After this defeat, Xerxes, who had claimed to be a god, becomes even more fearful and kills his general. But today, the Spartan commander's son is also martyred in this battle, so they don't celebrate the victory. On the other hand, Ephialtes, who was once with Leonidas, now goes to Xerxes, who tells him, "Your God is merciless. He who made you is even more merciless. These Spartans who rejected you, but I am merciful. I will give you everything you desire, everything you never even imagined, just show me the path so we can surround these Spartans from all sides." Ephialtes agrees, saying, "Yes, I want everything. I want wealth, women, and a uniform." Xerxes replies, "Everything you want, I will give." Meanwhile, Queen Gorgo, Leonidas' wife, is trying to send Sparta's army to assist the 300 Spartans. However, convincing the senators is not easy. Not all of them agree with her. Among these senators is Theron, who is secretly allied with Xerxes and does not want Sparta's army to go help the 300. The queen calls him to meet her at night. She says, "I need your vote in parliament. If you give your vote, they will send help to the 300 warriors." He responds, "Why should I help them? What's in it for me?" She says, "They are your kings." Theron replies, "War and politics are separate." The next morning, when the parliament convenes, Theron opposes the queen's proposal and falsely accuses her. This makes the queen furious, and she kills him with a knife. As she kills him, a lot of gold coins fall from his clothes, and on these coins, there is a picture of Xerxes. Everyone realizes he was allied with Xerxes and calls him a traitor. The queen leaves, heading towards the mountain pass known as the Gate of Men. Ephialtes shows Xerxes' men the secret path that allows them to surround Leonidas and his warriors from all sides. As they advance, an Arcadian soldier discovers this betrayal and rushes to warn Leonidas. He exclaims, "We are doomed. We must escape as soon as possible. Xerxes' army is approaching from the rear, and by morning, they will completely surround us and kill us all." Leonidas responds firmly, "Spartans neither retreat nor surrender, no matter the cost, even if it means facing death." However, the Arcadians decide to leave, unwilling to die in vain. Now, Leonidas and his warriors know that death awaits them. Leonidas calls one of his men, Dilios, and tells him, "Go back and tell everyone what happened here. Tell them the tale of our victory to the people of the Sparta." He then hands Dilios a locket for the Queen Gorgo and sends him away. By the next morning, the Spartans are completely surrounded. One of Xerxes' men approaches Leonidas and says, "Surrender your weapons, and you will be made the warlord of all Greece. Sparta will be wealthier than ever before. All you have to do is lay down your arms, kneel before Xerxes, and accept his rule." Ephialtes is also present, the very traitor who showed them the secret path. Leonidas recalls that fateful night when he stood against a ferocious horde and slaughtered them all. Now, he removes his armor, throws away his shield, and looks at Ephialtes. He says, "May you live a long life, my friend." Then, he throws away his spear and kneels. At that moment, memories of his beloved wife flood his mind. Suddenly, Leonidas calls out, "Stelios." Stelios rushes forward. Using Stelios as a foothold, Leonidas leaps into the air and strikes down Xerxes' messenger with his spear. Xerxes, enraged, commands, "Kill them all." Leonidas rises one last time, picks up his spear, and with all his strength, hurls it at Xerxes. The spear grazes Xerxes' cheek, wounding him and drawing blood, the first time the so-called God King has ever been injured. At that moment, thousands of arrows rained down upon Leonidas and his warriors. And thus, the brave 300 Spartans sacrificed themselves for Sparta and Greece. Meanwhile, Dilios returns to Queen Gorgo and hands her Leonidas' locket. She immediately understands that Leonidas is no more. She takes the locket and places it around her son's neck. Dilios then stands before the Spartan council and declares, the king did not ask for a tribute, a memorial, or even a song of victory. He only wished to be remembered. The scene shifts to 10,000 Spartan warriors, standing before Dilios as he narrates the tale of the 300 Spartans' bravery. Facing them is Xerxes' massive army. Dilios proclaims, "Fear grips their hearts because they still remember the wrath of King Leonidas and his warriors." With that, the Spartans raise their blood-stained swords and charge toward Xerxes' army. And thus, the film ends. This movie is 300 and it was released in 2006 and has an IMDb rating of 7.6. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know which movie you'd like to hear about next.